Imagine for a moment the vast icy plains of Siberia. Now, picture something colossal roaming that landscape, something that hasn't been seen for 4,000 years. I'm talking about the woolly mammoth. It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie, right? Well, a group of audacious scientists is working on a plan to make it a reality. They want to bring back this iconic Ice Age giant. But why? What's the point of resurrecting a creature that's been extinct for millennia? Is this just a vanity project, a scientific flex? Or is there something more profound going on? Stick with me because the answer might just change how you see the future of our planet. To understand this wild plan, we need to travel back in time. Not just 4,000 years, but 20,000 years. To the height of the last Ice Age. Back then, much of the northern hemisphere was covered by a unique and sprawling ecosystem known as the Mammoth Steppe. This wasn't the barren tundra we see today. It was a vast, cold, dry grassland, teeming with life. Herds of bison, wild horses, and of course, the magnificent woolly mammoths roamed these plains. The mammoths were the undisputed kings of this environment. They were more than just giant, furry elephants. They were what scientists call ecosystem engineers. Think of them as nature's gardeners. An adult woolly mammoth could weigh over 6 tons and stood as tall as an African elephant. They used their immense size and power to shape the world around them. They would knock down trees, trample shrubs, and spread seeds for miles in their dung. This constant disturbance kept the forest from taking over, maintaining the vast grasslands that so many other species depended on. Their heavy footsteps compacted the snow in winter, allowing the deep, freezing air to penetrate the soil. This kept the permafrost, the permanently frozen ground beneath, solidly frozen, even during the brief summer months. The Mammoth Steppe was a balanced, thriving system, and the mammoths were the keystone species holding it all together. But then the climate began to change. The Ice Age started to wane, and the world grew warmer and wetter. Around 10,000 years ago, a combination of this climate shift and pressure from early human hunters began to take its toll on the mammoth populations. Their numbers dwindled. The last isolated groups clung to survival on remote Arctic islands until about 4,000 years ago, when the very last woolly mammoth took its final breath. And with their extinction, the world they had maintained for so long began to unravel. Without the mammoths to knock down trees and compact the snow, the ecosystem underwent a dramatic transformation. Mosses and shrubs, once kept in check, began to spread rapidly. Forests encroached on the grasslands. This new, darker vegetation absorbed more sunlight, warming the ground. The thick layer of winter snow, no longer trampled down, acted like a cozy blanket, insulating the soil from the cold air. The result? The permafrost, which had been frozen solid for tens of thousands of years, began to thaw. This brings us to the present day and the heart of the problem. The Arctic is warming at a terrifying rate, much faster than the rest of the planet. As the permafrost thaws, it releases vast amounts of greenhouse gases, methane and carbon dioxide, that have been locked away in the frozen soil for millennia. This creates a dangerous feedback loop. Thawing permafrost releases gases, which warm the planet further, which in turn causes more permafrost to thaw. It's a climate time bomb, and we're hearing it tick louder every year. This is where the woolly mammoth, a ghost from the past, re-enters the story as a potential hero for the future. The core idea behind this de-extinction project, championed by organizations like Colossal Biosciences, isn't just about creating a prehistoric zoo. It's about ecological restoration. The hypothesis is that by reintroducing a large grazing herbivore, a proxy for the mammoth, we could potentially revert the modern tundra back to the Mammoth Steppe grasslands. These new mammoths, which would actually be genetically engineered Asian elephants with mammoth traits like a shaggy coat and layers of fat, would once again trample the snow, knock down shrubs, and promote the growth of grasses. Why does this matter? Well, grasslands reflect more sunlight than dark forests and scrubland, a phenomenon known as the albedo effect. More reflection means less heat absorption, which could help cool the local climate. By compacting the winter snow, these neo-mammoths would allow the frigid Arctic air to once again penetrate deep into the ground, refreezing and stabilizing the permafrost. The ultimate goal is to lock that ticking climate time bomb back in its icy vault. If successful, this ambitious project could help slow down one of the most dangerous feedback loops in our climate system. It's a breathtakingly bold proposal, using the genetic ghosts of the past to solve a very modern crisis. Of course, the science behind this is incredibly complex. You can't just find a frozen mammoth and clone it Jurassic Park style. The DNA is too degraded after thousands of years. Instead, scientists are taking the genome of the mammoth's closest living relative, the Asian elephant, and using gene editing technology like CRISPR to splice in mammoth genes. They're looking for the genes responsible for cold adaptation, the long, shaggy hair, the small ears to prevent heat loss, the thick layer of subcutaneous fat, and the specialized hemoglobin that allows blood to release oxygen at low temperatures. The plan is to create an embryo and bring it to term using an artificial womb to avoid putting an endangered Asian elephant through a risky pregnancy. The result wouldn't be a 100% perfect woolly mammoth, but a cold-resistant elephant-mammoth hybrid that could survive and hopefully thrive in the Siberian wilderness. The team at Colossal has already made huge strides, identifying and successfully editing many of the key genes. They believe they could have their first calf within the next few years. It's a monumental undertaking, blending paleontology, genetics, and reproductive technology in a way that was unimaginable just a decade ago. But with a plan this revolutionary, there are bound to be questions and controversies. Many critics raise important ethical concerns. Is it right to create a new life form just for our own purposes? What unforeseen consequences could arise from introducing a creature like this into a modern ecosystem, even one it used to inhabit? The Arctic of today is not the same as the one 20,000 years ago. There are new plants, new animals, and a completely different climate. Could these hybrids become an invasive species? Furthermore, some argue that the immense resources being poured into this project could be better spent on conserving the species we already have, like the critically endangered Asian elephant itself. They worry that de-extinction is a flashy distraction from the more immediate and pressing work of protecting existing biodiversity. These are valid and crucial questions that the scientific community and the public need to grapple with. There's a fine line between visionary science and hubris, and the Mammoth Project walks that line boldly. Despite the challenges and ethical debates, the potential rewards are hard to ignore. If reintroducing mammoth-like creatures can genuinely help stabilize the permafrost and mitigate climate change, it could be one of the most impactful conservation efforts in human history. It represents a paradigm shift from just protecting what's left to actively restoring what we've lost. The project, based in a place called Pleistocene Park in Siberia, is already showing promising small-scale results with existing herbivores like bison and horses. They've seen localized ground temperatures drop significantly in the areas where these animals graze. The wild plan to bring back the woolly mammoth is more than just a scientific curiosity. It's a story about the past, present, and future of our planet. It forces us to ask big questions about our role as stewards of the Earth and the power and responsibility that comes with advanced technology. Whether it succeeds or fails, this endeavor is pushing the boundaries of what is possible and sparking a vital conversation about how we can heal a world that we ourselves have broken. Could the key to securing our future really lie in resurrecting a ghost from the deep past? Only time will tell. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think about this plan? Is it a brilliant solution or a dangerous gamble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey into the world of de-extinction, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the future of science. See you next time.